Okay, everybody, it's that time of the episode where we get into the big guy. And this is a big one. This is Spider-Man Far From Home, the second MCU Spider-Man movie. So, gosh, Ike, why don't you just start off with giving us a little bit of a history behind the
Okay.
film, and we're going to jump right into this guy.
You got it, guys. Movie is Spider-Man Far From Home. I like that all the titles have home in them. That's kind of cool, the first three at least. Release date, July 2nd, 2019. Main cast, Thomas of the Holland, Zendaya, Jacob John Favreau. I'm just going to move on. Marissa Tomei, Samuel L. Jackson, or is it? Colby Smulders, or is it? And Jake Gyllenhaal. History behind the film, guys, is the development of Spider-Man Far From Home began almost immediately after Spider-Man Homecoming. A what? With Marvel Studios and Sony wanting to continue Tom Holland's version of Peter Parker while also using the sequel to deal directly with the enormous consequences of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. By the time filming began in 2018, the MCU was approaching the end of the first major saga. With Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Captain Marvel either released or in production, Far From Home was ultimately postponed as the final film of the Infinity Saga, meaning it had the unusual responsibility of functioning both as a Spider-Man sequel and an epilogue to the first 23-film chapter of the MCU. The filmmakers wanted Peter to be dealing with the death of Tony Stark, when we all were, while simultaneously trying to return to being an ordinary teenager. Director John Watts returned after Homecoming along with Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, Marissa Tomei, John Favreau, and other members of Peter's supporting cast. Holland had gone from being a relatively unknown teenager when he was cast as Spider-Man to one of Hollywood's biggest young stars, while Zendaya was rapidly becoming a major actress and performer of her own. The film also brought back Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury and Colby Smulders as Maria Hill, further emphasizing that Peter was now firmly woven into the larger MCU. One of the most interesting decisions was taking Spider-Man out of New York and sending him on a European school trip. The idea actually came from John Watts during the Homecoming press tour. While in Rome, Watts looked across at a rooftop and saw a stunt performer wearing the full Spider-Man costume with his city behind him. He had immediately thought that the image of Spider-Man against a European backdrop looked like something audiences would want to see in a movie. That simple visual planted the seed for the European vacation concept. The filmmakers ultimately designed the movie as a combination of a teenage coming-of-age vacation film and a globe-trotting espionage adventure, taking Peter and his classmates through Venice, Prague, Berlin, London, and other European locations. This also gave the sequel a visual identity completely different from Homecoming, while allowing Peter to experience the world outside of Queens for the first time. The European trip wasn't originally conceived simply as a way to make the movie bigger. It was intended to put Peter somewhere unfamiliar and make him feel even more isolated after losing Tony. The choice of Mysterio as a villain was made very early in development. John Watts and the writers wanted to use one of Spider-Man's most iconic villains who had never appeared in a live-action Spider-Man film, and Mysterio's comic book ability to manipulate perception were particularly useful for the story they wanted to tell. Rather than simply making Quentin Beck a guy in a fishbowl helmet using smoke and explosives, Marvel reimagined him as a former Stark Industries employee and special effects expert who could use advanced drones and holographic technology to create seemingly supernatural threats. Watts specifically explained that the character's original comic book gimmick needed to be modernized, but the filmmakers wanted to preserve the essence of Mysterio. You cannot trust what you are seeing. That made him an ideal villain for a post-Endgame story because Peter was grieving Tony Stark and desperately looking for someone capable of filling the enormous void Tony had left behind. Jake Gyllenhaal was a great cast as Quentin Beck, bringing considerable dramatic credibility and charisma to the heroic Mysterio before revealing his deception. The filmmakers Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I skipped a line there. Credibility and charisma to the role, which was essential because the movie needed audiences to generally believe that Beck was the heroic Mysterio before revealing his deception. The filmmakers also used Mysterio's ability to create the film's spectacular illusion sequence, including the surreal nightmare involving zombie Iron Man, which Watts described as one of the primary reasons Mysterio was such an exciting villain to use. Behind the scenes, maintaining the secrecy surrounding the movie was extraordinarily difficult because the film directly followed Avengers Endgame. Marvel knew that revealing Tony Stark's death, the 5-year time jump, or Mysterio's true identity too early could spoil enormous parts of the MCU's future. John Watts joked that the scripts were so heavily redacted that that they looked like leaked CIA documents. Tom Holland's reputation for accidentally revealing Marvel secrets also became a running joke during production, so the filmmakers frequently operated on a strict need-to-know basis. Production took place across Europe, the United Kingdom, and Czech Republic, and the United States with Venice, Prague, London, and other locations providing real-world environments rather than relying entirely on studio sets. The movie also introduced several new Spider-Man costumes, including the black stealth suit supplied by Fury and Peter's eventual upgraded red and black suit, reflecting Peter's gradual movement away from Tony Stark's technological shadow and toward becoming his own hero. Perhaps the most important part of the movie story was determining how Peter would respond to Tony Stark's death. Homecoming had deliberately established Tony as a mentor and surrogate father figure, while Endgame removed him from Peter's life. Far From Home, therefore, became a story about Peter learning that he cannot simply replace Tony or wait for another adult to tell him what to do. The film repeatedly presents him with opportunities to hand responsibility to Nick Fury, Mysterio, or Tony's technology, but ultimately Peter has to trust in his own instincts. This culminates to the famous sequence where he uses the enhanced Peter Tangle to fight Mysterio's drones without relying on his vision. Yep. Technically or externally guidance, his vision, technically or technologically or external guidance. Sorry, guys. In that sense, the movie completes Peter's first MCU character arc. He begins as a kid, desperately trying to become an Avenger, and ends as a hero capable of standing on his own. When Spider-Man Far From Home was released in July 2019, it received generally positive reviews and became an enormous commercial success. It currently holds a 91% critic score and a 95% verified audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. The film ultimately grossed approximately $1.13 billion worldwide against a reported $160 million production budget, making it the first Spider-Man film to cross the $1 billion mark. Its success was particularly significant because it was released only a few months after Avengers Endgame and demonstrated that the MCU could move beyond the original Avengers without immediately abandoning its established characters. The film's final post-credit sequence, in which Mysterio exposes Peter Parker's identity to the world and frames him for his crimes, also dramatically changed Peter's future and provided the bridge into Spider-Man No Way Home. In retrospect, Far From Home served as both a Spider-Man coming-of-age story and a farewell to the first era of the MCU, showing Peter Parker attempting to find his place in a universe that had just lost many of its defining heroes.
Mm.
Intense, guys. There's a lot to it.
Intense. Yeah, that was a long history, but very good.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, the official synopsis. Peter Parker heads to Europe hoping for a normal summer, but elemental attacks and a mysterious new hero pull him back into a dangerous fight he isn't ready to embrace. All right, so do you want me to read Act 1?
Sure.
Okay, Act 1, we're going to get into it, guys. The vacation interrupted. So, as Peter Parker mourns Tony Stark, he plans to confess his feelings to MJ on his European school trip. All seems well until Nick Fury intercepts Peter in Venice to draft him into fighting the destructive elemental creatures. Peter comes face to face with the water elemental and meets a mysterious new hero. Nick Fury reveals that Quentin Beck is a mysterious hero who came to our Earth after his Earth was destroyed from the elementals. Peter refuses the call to action, but Fury rewrote his school trip to Prague, forcing Peter to team up with Quentin Beck, also known as Mysterio, against the fire elemental.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what worked for you?
So, a lot works. It's funny because some of what works, I contradict myself and say it doesn't at the same time in a few moments, which is weird to say. But I will say I think it's the elements of certain things that work, and then the elements of it in that same sense don't work. But let's go with what worked for now, guys. I think what works is this feels like post Tony Stark. I think that's a smart idea to do this when they do it. It's post Blip, post Tony Stark. The stuff they do show in it of that is great. I think that's a big part of it that works. Also, what works is this setup as a European trip. I know I was like, oh, you're taking Spider-Man out of New York. That's like the identity. It's like, yeah, but you know what? He's in school. This is stuff that happens, right? They go on these big trips. So I think that it's smart to do it because it's fun and it does serve the story, just like the history does talk about. Without getting into too many more details, those things worked out real well for me. The only other thing I'll bring up that does work, and I'll pass it to you, then we'll hit some details, is I think there was a great introduction to Quentin Beck. I love that you start this movie out with him and Nick Fury and them like, oh, what is this going on? And it makes us go, wow. And I think the elementals are a really cool idea. I think they look cool, they're fun, and it's neat when later on when you find out that they're not real, it's wild. You know what I mean? So it's kind of neat. So yeah, that's what works. We'll go into some more detailed things. What worked for you and a broad thing, and then if you want to hop into some details, we can.
All right. So I liked a lot of this first act. I think John Watts' vision of seeing what what Peter would look like in a European trip. I like this idea.
Yeah.
This is very creative. Get him out of Brooklyn, out of Queens. I'm sorry, that's where he's from, but out of New York City, and throw him into the old world European looks and the landmarks and all that stuff. I think that was a really genius idea, honestly. So, I like this. I love the beginning, the opening of Nick Fury and Maria, going to, I believe it was Mexico, and meeting Beck. I think that was a really cool opening sequence. I also love that the origin of Feast is help to displace people from the blip, and I want to touch upon that real quick for a moment. The blip itself.
I'm going to talk about this later, but if we're going to talk about it now, we can, if you're going to go where I think you're going.
Well, we are shown right off the bat what happens when people come back from this blip.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's kind of terrifying if you think about it in this aspect.
Oh, my God.
Because, yes, we get our loved ones back, but they come back in the same exact place they were blipped out. And we saw nice parts in this movie where they come back in the gymnasium. But think about the people in airplanes.
Oh, my God.
If you were on a cruise in the ocean and all of a sudden you blip back to the middle of the Atlantic, oh my gosh. If you were someone in that 5-year period who did migrate to America that we made a comment on in Endgame, and then your child that was gone, your whole family blips back there, you're now separated from them. Like, who knows where you even, you know? It's like, wow. It's just the other end of things. It's like
they don't ever touch on that either.
It's really a double-edged sword coming back. We wanted you back so badly, we finally got you back, but look what happened when you did. Like, the whole world went into another eruption of chaos, basically. And this kind of touches on it in that more humorous, mild aspects, but in retrospect, thinking about all that stuff, be like, holy smokes. It does lead me to a funny line that Peter's teacher says, is that his wife used the blip to fake a death, and then turned out she was cheating on him. Like, oh my gosh! It's almost like one of those jokes you miss. You speed right by, you can miss it type thing. You blink and you miss it. Oh my gosh, you're blipping, you miss it. It's something.
Yeah, it's wild to think that if you were on a plane and you blipped right there. I mean, do you come back in that plane? Or do you come back where that plane was?
I think, like,
that's the question.
Like,
right?
the gymnasium thing, you come back where you were last physically at. So I don't think it's like you're in your car, you come back in your car.
I agree with you. I think you're right. I think it's awful. I think it's a scary thing.
Think about that. If you blipped in your car and then you're now in the middle of a highway.
It's better than being 30,000 feet
Oh
off the
my
ground.
gosh. If Marvel wanted to do something very daring, it's too late now, kind of. If they want to open up a movie with all the misplaced blips and then showing your intro to your hero or villain, whatever it is, through that. Holy smokes!
You become a villain because of the blip. You brought them back and they died.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So anyway.
But it makes you wonder, is like they never do clarify though. They could say, well, no, he was in the plane, so then he'd be in the plane. That would be their way around it. But yet there's still some scenarios you can come up with that isn't good. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely think it's more like it's where you were, meaning, you know, you're 35,000 feet in the air. It's where you're going to come back, right? Like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, and also because this is a retrospective, we do know in future movies how some characters blip and come back and we see where they come in. Like Yelena, it comes in my mind, Monica, all that stuff. They come back exactly where they were. So, like.
And what's the physics to it? Like, what if you're sitting in the exact spot of someone that blipped and they come back? What happens?
See, that's the thing. Do you come back? I don't see on here where you come back like you falling from the sky type thing.
It's boom, you're there.
You're just right there occupying that space. And if someone's already occupying that space, what happens? Are you inside somebody? Does that other person explode? What?
I mean, something happens, right? There's a metaphysical thing there.
Something has to happen.
I could only, like, I mean, we went to the drastic of places. Just think if you're in the same spot. Ooh, what happens? What's the physics here, guys? Like, that is a wild thing to think about.
Yeah.
That's a wild thing to think about. It's like, if you're sitting in the exact same spot, you imagine just taking a crap at Walmart? You know what I'm saying? Just doing your thing, and then somebody, bloop, right there, right? I mean, you are them now? Like, what happens to you guys? Like,
yeah.
Maybe they should just let it be.
Yep. I agree. Oh my, it's.
I'm glad you brought it up. I wish they touched on a little more of the horror of it, because there's got to be some sort of horror to it.
But this is Spider-Man. It's family friendly, so I see it. But at the same time, they should take another character and really show what the heck happens, you know? Anyways.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. It's a pretty wild thought. But hey, that's just, you know, this is for you all to think about when you're laying down tonight in bed. Like, oh my God, what if I blipped 30,000 feet in the air? Can you imagine?
Yeah. Yikes.
Because it's funny. When Peter comes back in Endgame, you wonder where they blipped to, because everyone's like, oh no, they just didn't exist. But that's not true, because...
So in the comics, they are in the Soul Stone.
Right. They don't make that clear in the movie, though.
No, in the movie, they make it sound like you just dust where you are and then you undust back. Yeah.
But like Peter tells Tony that we were gone, and then Dr. Strange showed up and said, we need you, let's go. So what do you mean he showed up? Like, where were you? Like, that's what I'd be asking.
Well, I think he showed up because he woke up and that's where Doctor Strange was. He dusted too.
Maybe.
That's my interpretation.
Yeah, it could be that too.
Yeah.
But part of me is kind of like, is that what? It's like, were they all in like a weird place? Like, you know, it's kind of strange. Nobody talks about it, which is fine. But I'm more concerned about the coming back.
Like the coming back. Yeah.
I mean, what if you were swimming? You know, I mean, there's a ton of things you can think of there. Like, what if you were just, what does that mean? You know, like, are they going to use the excuse of, well, no, if you're in the plane, you come back in the plane, cool. But that doesn't mean if they say they tore that gym down and built a different gym, they're still going to show up where that gym was, right? So to me, that doesn't make sense. So I don't know. It's like like I said, I even went a step further. Thinking, what if you're right where somebody was?
Yeah, there. Or what if something else was there? A building is where you blip back to.
Oh my gosh.
Like right in that. You're dead.
Yeah.
You're in the drywall. There's something that like a car right there. You blip right where a semi is coming.
Yeah,
like, holy smokes.
They move the fire, and that's where you were sitting at one point. So you blip and you're in the middle of the fire. You imagine just sitting around the fire and some... It's like, oh my God, like that'd be some wild stuff, guys. Like, there's some horror stuff going on.
If they want to do like a Final Destination movie in the MCU, It's everyone blips back and they're at their death.
Yeah, let's show you what this looked like. Yeah, because there's a support group of people out there dealing with this right now.
One moment you're camping, the next moment you blip back into a wood chipper. Holy smokes!
Yeah, you imagine the trauma of I lost my wife and 2 little girls to the blip. They're gone, and then they blipped everybody back. They were on a plane ride back to come home, so now they fell 30,000 feet and drowned in the ocean.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh my gosh, guys.
Thanks a lot. At least before they dusted away. Seemed a little more peaceful.
Yeah.
Maybe Thanos was more merciful about it than it was like, boy, Thanos had a point. You brought my family back just to plunge 30,000 feet to the ground.
See, there's a villain that's ready to be made right there.
Pissed. Yeah, wait a minute.
Yeah. Anyways.
That you brought it up. I was going to bring it up later, but I'm like, nah, that's a good thing to talk about because it's wild.
So, yeah.
It works, though, because it's cool, but it is a unique thing that brings a lot to your mind.
It makes you think a lot about other situations. But for this movie, it's all happy and cheerful at this point, so we're just going to stick with it.
If the Sokovia Accords had any kind of ammunition, if the Sokovia Accords happened after Endgame, that's one of them.
Yes.
That'd be on the list of, you may have saved everybody, but do you realize...
Yeah, you brought back 1.3 billion people, but unfortunately, 0.5 of them died when they came back.
Millions of them died horrifically.
Yeah. Anyways, so guys, let's see. I'm gonna just say what my standout moment is from this too.
Sure.
Nick Fury's entrance.
Yeah, I'm not with you on this.
No,
I cannot stand Nick Fury in this movie.
Wow.
Such an idiot. And then we get to the end and we know why.
See, I forgive a lot of the points because of that, but I love the secret agent aspect of him hiding in their room and making Ned go to sleep and be like, you're a hard guy to track down, Peter Parker.
That's where my problems with this movie stem. Though.
Oh, really? I like it.
They shouldn't have done that ending then. I agree with you. Here's the thing. I love what you just said. I agree 100%. But where the excuse of the ending being where Nick Fury's incompetent and makes real bad choices, and you wonder, well, you're not this dumb. Why are you acting this way? That's right, because you're a Skrull. But then he wouldn't act like the Nick Fury that we like in this either then. So you can't have it one way and the other.
Because I feel like...
The Nick Fury that's in the room that puts Ned down, that's how Nick Fury would be. That's not how the Skrull would be, though.
But Talos is trying to act like Nick Fury. So, and that makes sense to me. He's doing the best Nick Fury performance, which is actually pretty good. He's just not, he doesn't have the brain that Nick Fury has to be able to figure out, Quentin Beck is really this bad guy. Yeah, they're very naive about it. And it's because they're Skrulls. They don't know how to trust them. They don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I don't buy it for some reason.
But they know how to play their part.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
I do buy it. So, anyways.
Now, when the Skrull takes over, is there rules to it that they haven't explained to us in the comics? You might know because this is why you're on this end of it. When a Skrull does take over somebody, do they, I wouldn't say their memories because clearly you can trick them, but do they take over like the likeness enough? Like where it's like, if I'm going to pretend to be somebody and I turn into them, their mannerisms and how they are, do they adopt that as well? Because then I'd be like, I get it. If he pretends to be Nick Fury and when he's Nick Fury, it's easier to fall into things that Nick Fury would do and to blend in better because that's part of the transformation. Because if it's just him doing his best interpretation of it, I don't think they knew each other well enough for him to be that dead on about how Nick Fury is.
Well, think about it in this aspect. Captain Marvel movie happened in the 90s. This is 2020, actually. It's because it's a little more than with the Endgame 5-year time jump. Then this is like 2020 or something for them. I'm not sure specifically. But that whole time, Talos and Nick Fury knew each other and became friends. So,
all right.
Yes,
he
would know him enough for a good couple decades to act enough like him, but it's still with those little missteps of not being able to fully realize Mysterio is not who they say they are. These elementals aren't real. Some of this stuff doesn't actually work out that way.
That stuff I'm okay with.
That's believable for me, where they're enough to play the part to show Nick Fury still alive, but yet Nick Fury is off-world this whole time.
The putting an entire class of kids in constant danger is like, what are you doing?
But
I get it. He's a Skrull and he doesn't know but someone needs to talk to
But
him.
look
then.
at Nick Fury. That also sounds like something he would do.
I don't think so though. I
Mm.
think Nick wouldn't have done it that way. And if he would, to me, that's it just feels out of. See, let's just say it feels out of character, which is fine because he's a Skrull. Like if it was the real Nick Fury, he wouldn't be rerouting the entire class. I don't think he would. I think he just forced Peter into something. I think Nick's smart enough. I'm not going to put all your classmates in danger. Like I think Nick cares enough about people that more so.
Okay, I could surrender to that a little bit.
Because it would feel like, oh, that's really reckless. And I don't think he means to be reckless. I think he's only reckless when it calls for it. And I wouldn't say this called for it. He could have easily just said, too bad, Peter. Let's go.
Hmm.
And that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I really think that it was like he could have just made it harder for him and not taken his whole class and put them in that kind of danger over and over and over again. You know what I'm saying? But because it is Talos, okay, cool. But that also means I hope that when he got back up there, Nick was like, what? Don't do that, dude. You know what I mean? Maybe, guys, I don't know. I'm not a fan of them being Skrulls. That's something that does not work for me in this entire movie.
Mm.
I don't think that was a good choice. And because of it, it's why it feels weird. And those weird things about it that I don't like because of that is what bothers me about the movie.
Mm.
So yes, I will surrender to the fact that Nick Fury's out of character because he is out of character. But where I'm going to be where my review comes in is I think that was a bad choice.
Mm.
I wouldn't have never done that. But the Skrull thing was just missed opportunities already. I still think they're like pining to make something out of it, and it still never turns into anything.
Well, see, this is a good, like we've talked about before, this is a good setup. If they followed through with it, it would have worked out really well. But unfortunately, in retrospect, we know they didn't.
Yeah.
And they dropped the ball tremendously. But I do think this is a great way of laying the groundwork of Skrulls are here.
Yeah, you've convinced me to be nicer about it. I won't complain as much about it.
It's funny enough.
You're right.
It's great that we're talking
right.
about this, and it's interesting. This is your gripe of the movie because I have a gripe of the movie that's not related to this at all. That it's how do I say this in the nicest way? It's going to be more evident in Act 2, so I'm going to save it for that. But it is definitely mind-numbing to think about.
Oh no.
So
I struggle finding many problems.
Oh, I agree. I struggle finding problems, but there's always one that if you're not paying attention enough, it can easily slip by, and then you're kind of confused for most of the movie.
Oh boy, guys, we're in for. So I'm going to concede to this though. I don't have a lot of ground to stand on because I have to take my own advice. I can't make this movie pay for what they didn't do later. And that's what I want people to do with this new Spider-Man movie. Don't hate on the Jean Grey stuff because later it's going to make sense. So if they do not follow through with the Jean Grey stuff later, it shouldn't make this one that they did bad.
No, it dropped the ball. Yeah,
they dropped the ball later. So I'll agree. If the intention was we want the Skrulls to be more important, we do want to build to something, then you know what? I will admit I'm wrong, and it works very well then. I guess I just don't like the Skrull thing because of what they've done with it already.
Yeah.
It made me think that they already failed at it, and it made me wonder what they were going to do. So I guess I just didn't have a lot of faith in it is all. And so I will take that back. I will actually give it the point it deserves for that I was going to take away from it. I'm actually going to give it back because I'm going to follow my own advice. You convinced me. I'm going to follow my own advice and just let this movie stand on its own.
Yeah,
because I have to. Because I'm doing that with the other one with Brand New Day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they could screw up Jean Grey later, but they set him up for a win. So they're setting it up for a win here. Later, they just didn't. They didn't do it. So we'll complain about that when we get to that. Then where they did drop the ball on that. So
yeah, I agree, and I think we are
because you're right.
We will complain about the Skrulls, but how this left me with the impression that they're Skrulls, and I know we're already jumping to post-credit scene, but I'll just put a pin on this so we can move on to it.
It's part of the whole how you feel about the movie once you know it.
Yeah, and a part of Nick Fury's character this whole time. That's what we were talking about originally. Yeah, when I got done watching this movie in the theaters, I was so hyped for whatever the next phase was going to be, which we weren't going to know for a good year almost before they were going to announce things, that's what they were going to do. Because I thought they're leading into the Skrulls and the Secret Invasion storyline. It turns out they really did not know what they were doing, and they dropped the ball all over the place.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
a couple more details about this first one, because then we'll
Sure.
get into Act 2, where you say you're gonna get more into what's wrong, right? I just want to bring up, I like that this, I buy Peter in this entire movie, but the start of it, this idea of him just wanting to be a teenager, man, he's still in high school. He's still, I get it. It's part of the process. This is a part of where we go, right? I do like that Aunt May is like all on board with him being Spider-Man, though. Like even just bringing him out and even packing his suit, like just in case, you know what I mean? Like, so I like that she's not battling him, because you could have easily been like, she finds out the next movie is her like, I wish you, but no, she's like, okay, well, hey, you are. So we're gonna do the best we can. You know what I mean? And I love that, because it sets it up for the next movie, which is wild. And I like that Happy's more involved. I enjoyed those scenes a lot. I do like the elementals. I like the look of them. I think it's really good. The CGI in this movie is fantastic.
Yep.
In that sense, we'll get to that too when we get towards the end. I do like that there's how Peter is juggling between Peter and Spider-Man. And honestly, in a retrospective, this is even better knowing how it goes when we get the brand new day. It's like a build that, I'm telling you, man, I love that they made a 3-movie prequel to the real Spider-Man movie they wanted to make, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing when you think about the genius of it, and I loved it. I love it, and it shows right off the bat in this. Yeah, I like this. I think I believe the loss of Tony Stark in the world that we live in. I believe it's hard for him as well. Let me see what I wrote down for the things that didn't work real quick. What doesn't work for Act 1 for me, guys, is I do believe where it works of this being something after Endgame and doing post-blip and the Tony stuff being gone, I will have to tell you that if you took those elements out, I do feel like the pacing in the beginning it's almost too reliant on past movies. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying they're doing it wrong, and I don't think I would have done it any other way. But I will say this particular movie is one of the first times in the MCU, other than from Infinity War into Endgame, that it feels like more of a sequel than a standalone movie that includes things from before. When most Marvel movies are really good at being, you're going to get the movie, you got it, and you could start Marvel, you could watch Captain America Winter Soldier without seeing anything else and get what's going on. Now, you won't get the nuance that him and Bucky were besties and that feeling, but they explain it. It's easy. It's not hard to just jump into. You could watch Infinity War for the first time and not see any other Marvel movie, and you'd be fine. Hell, you could even watch Endgame. You just might be kind of like that Thanos guy. Wonder what's up with that. But you could still watch all of Endgame and not see any of the other ones, and you can still get a good movie. Some do have the sequel stuff where you got to see something before it. This one, though, feels very much so. If you were never seen an MCU movie and they sat down and said, I want to watch, well, you know what? I want to watch one of the Spider-Man ones. I'm going to pick this one. And they pick that one up. I'd be like, watch this other couple first before you watch this one. Because there's a lot of who he is and what's going to happen and why it's happening that you're not going to really understand at all. This movie has that sequel feeling. That doesn't mean it makes it bad. It does, though, make it feel like it needed to have a sequel feeling. Because I always applaud Marvel for being able to make a story that is sequels, because it all is, really. Anything after Iron Man 1's a sequel, right?
Yeah.
Technically.
The universe, yeah.
But you can go into alone more than others. This one, to me, though, is the first one that definitely is like, I would not let someone watch this one for the first time if you're watching Marvel for the first time. It's not a good way to find out Tony dies in this movie. And then to go back and watch. So like, if someone saw this for the first time,
I can see
they'd say, oh, Tony died? It's like, yeah, watch Endgame. That impact is gone now because they watch this first.
I can see that. Yeah.
That's my only complaint is in Act 1 at least. I got that feeling of, oh, there's nothing wrong with what I'm seeing. I actually struggle. I don't know if I'd even take a point off, but it is the gripe if I had to nitpick. This feels more like a sequel than most MCU movies. I'd say it's the first time it was very evident to me that, ooh, this is definitely a sequel.
Okay.
As
All
in,
right, I can see that.
you could jump in anywhere, everywhere else almost.
Still, it's not like Ant-Man and the Wasp sequel where it's mundane. This one actually has action-packed. This has story to it, character-driven development.
I
everything.
agree. But
Yeah.
I would still argue, other than the post-credits of Ant-Man and the Wasp, you could have watched that one and not seen the first one and been fine. It's just a boring movie. That's the biggest problem it has.
That's true. I feel like you would need to see the first one to see why they're doing the whole Hope rescue thing.
Yep.
But at the same
It's pretty well
time,
explained.
yeah. All right,
Like,
so
the nuances you're gonna miss, right?
yeah,
But this one makes you feel like, boy, you missed a lot. But if you didn't see some of the other stuff. Anyway, that's all I got for Biden. Didn't work.
did you have a standout moment?
Yes and no. I did, but I forgot to write it down, so I'm kind of going off of memory here. I think my standout moment for this one, for sure. I'm trying to think where this act ends because I almost think
So-
put it for the.
It ends where they're planning the fire battle. It's not where they start the fire battle. That's in the next one.
Okay.
So it ends with them going to, like, at this point they've gone to a couple different places. They went to Venice. Now they're moving over to Prague, the whole journey there.
He doesn't have the glasses yet.
This does have the glasses.
Oh, he does.
Actually, yes. This has the glasses in that drone sequence in the
Oh, okay, good, because that I wonder. For some reason I forgot where exactly that landed.
Yep.
But yeah, my standout moment is, I know a lot of people complain about the scene and they don't like it for some reason I see online. But my standout moment is him learning how to use the glasses. I like that stuff because it's funny. It just reminds me of the Tony Stark messing with stuff. And it's neat that it's like so drastically violent. Like, it's like, oh my God. Like, and it's, I mean, some people complain, this is where Peter's stupid. It's like, no, he's a teenager, man. Like, he's going to say things, and the Edith is taking it very literal. And he's like, oh, no. And it's like, oh, no, and I like this. I like the misdirects. I think it's more funny. I like this whole scene in the bus. To me, is this stand-up moment. It feels like Homecoming. It feels like Spider-Man. It feels like the kind of stuff that we like seeing in these movies.
Yeah.
That's my stand-up moment.
I agree.
For some reason, I thought that was an
It's
act. I
nice.
don't know why I messed it up in my head, guys.
That's,
Sorry.
no, it's okay. There's a lot in Act 1. All right, so what is your score for Act 1?
I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10.
I gave the same.
Yep.
9 out of 10.
Pacing is a little but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
All right, why don't you read Act 2?
All right. Act 2, Peter and Mysterio defeat the monster in Prague, bonding over the pressures of being a hero. Believing he is unworthy of Tony Stark's legacy, Peter hands over the Edith tactical glasses and AI system to Mysterio. Meanwhile, MJ discovers a piece of Mysterio's shattered projection drone, proving Mysterio is a fraud. The illusion drops, and Peter realizes Beck is manipulating the world with holographic tech. As he attempts to inform Nick Fury, Mysterio fights Spider-Man with illusions, resulting in Peter being hit by a train and Mysterio believing Peter is deaded. This is an intense part.
This okay. Why don't you talk about what worked? So there's a lot to unpack in this act. There are things that blow my mind, and there are things that bring question marks to my brain.
I like that MJ figured out who he is instead of him telling her. Even though the scene is played out, like she guesses it and then he affirms it. And she's like, really? But I like that she's like that smart to be like, I got you.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, I did get you. You know what I mean? Like, I like
she's
that.
like, I'm 67% sure.
Yep. And I like that this movie doesn't focus on that being a big issue.
Yes, I agree.
And I'm real cool about that. They handled this whole Peter identity thing real well in all these movies, but in this one, it definitely worked real well. I got a little sick and tired of Ned, and it's not as funny the fifth time around watching the movie. The whole thing with him and this other girl.
And Betty, yeah.
There's moments still I laugh, but sometimes I'm like, oh man, there could have been better jokes here if he wasn't in that spot. But it's okay, it's fine. I think what do they call him when he's in the black suit?
Spider Monkey?
Yeah.
Or no, Night Monkey. The
Night Monkey. I love the Night Monkey thing. I
That's
want a Night
hilarious.
Monkey poster. I think it would be cool. I think that's funny. I think the whole thing sequence is great. I will say, here's what works, which is the big part of this, right? I think they did a great job at knowing they weren't fooling us about Mysterio. We went into this movie knowing, duh, he's the bad guy. And they played it like we don't know he's the bad guy. But then the turn of him going bad that's where I think they took the leaps and bounds that you didn't know it was going to have that feel to it. And I think that worked for me. It wasn't just a simple, duh, he's the bad guy, and he just turns into the bad guy. They went the distance with it, man. Like, they really had fun with why he's the bad guy, how he's acting now that he's the bad guy, the whole thing behind it and what's going on. That works for me really, really well. It really does. Because it's like, yeah, duh, he is. I mean, if they really were trying to trick us, they failed, but they weren't. They were just they just were preparing us for like, so he's going to be the bad guy and we're going to have a good time with this. We're just going to have a great time with him being the bad guy. So that worked for me. I mean, without going into too many more details, that's what worked for me. So how about you?
Okay. So what worked for me? I like the Night Monkey thing. I think that was cool. When you're watching this as a retrospect, I watched this movie twice preparing for this episode, just as a retrospect. I really could have done it just one time, but the second time is when it really hit me more that I am not a fan of that fire elemental scene.
Okay.
To me, it's very more on the nose that this is fake. So this is the thing that really brings to my brain a lot of the question marks about how Mysterio is able to make these elementals be menacing and real without getting to the Edith part of things. Because Edith, and they, to their credit, they do explain in this act that they had one woman that worked and created these drones to help them, but Edith is taking it up a notch.
Yeah.
And that's why they're doing the biggest spectacle in London with all the Tony Stark drones that can do massive more damage than these ones. So I'm going to give them their credit there that they did at least follow through and explain that part. But there's a lot of questions when it came to the water elemental to show that was how that was real and how it was done, and that these invisible drones there are there the whole time and no one's touched them. It's an accident that Peter breaks one of the drones during the fire scene, but I'm like, that could have happened at any point.
Mhm.
That's the only part where I'm like, there's not that much of, in my opinion, the logic behind how they use the drones to do that.
Yep.
Because, in all honesty, Peter could have done like a mega web stream all over the place, and then he would have hit every drone. It's like, it's almost like Mysterio didn't think this through, but it just played in his favor the whole time. Like it was all luck for him until that moment. And that's the part where it's a little more unbelievable for me.
Mm.
And that's why that scene, which is supposed to be a big thing throughout in the second act, or starting at least the second act, this whole Prague fire elemental, oh, world's gonna end. I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna die from this, because at that point you could really see that, okay, this is not that menacing. It does help the build up for Peter believing him and giving him the glasses and all that
We
stuff.
discussed how Nick and them are getting tricked because they're not them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah.
The intuition's not there. But Nick would look at that big, I see right through that. My good eye.
Exactly.
Well, where's my bad eye? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, but
these guys are like, what the hell?
But for us as the audience, I feel like that's the scene where okay, you're seeing through the facade.
I think they want you to feel that way, though.
Yeah.
My rebuttal to you is what makes Mysterio not amazing Now, when I say amazing, I don't mean good in the movie, like good, like that I'm complaining about him. But what his fault is that he is getting lucky.
Mhm.
Because the truth is, if he was smarter and not a freaking psychopath like he is, and not the master manipulator, or what's the word I'm looking for? A narcissist
Yes,
like he is. If
narcissist,
he
yeah.
wasn't so blinded by that, he could have got away with this. And we'd have a hero that's got a real dark secret, right? That really isn't a hero because his powers are fake.
Mhm.
And so it wasn't going to last long. His plan, yeah, it sucks, but that's just it because he's a psycho, guys. Like I think that's what I would say to you is you don't like the scene because the logic of it kind of starts to fall apart when you look at his plan and wow, wait a minute. But I think that that's the point. I think that his mistake is bringing them in and trying to.
Okay.
He didn't think this through because he's just pissed. He thinks he's going to get away with something amazing.
Mhm.
He's just not gonna. You know what I mean? Like it's going to fall apart. Like we get charmed by him and we think that there's a normal, smart, intelligent human being there. But ultimately there's a narcissist behind those eyes that results to murder ultimately when it comes down to getting his way. And if you'll go that far, yeah, he hasn't thought this through all the way
Mhm.
through. And I think that the quirkiness of the group of them, once you meet everybody and all the stuff you see that, especially in that room when they're testing the drones later and how they act towards each other, I think that proves the idea that you're not really, none of you are put together. Like you're only lucky that this is working.
Mhm.
And Spider-Man is the wrench in that because it's not going to work. And Spider-Man the accident is Quentin's fault by letting Spider-Man be involved.
Mm.
Because if he didn't go to Nick and them and push and make a big thing about it, and he just showed up and saved everybody and left, he would have gotten away with this. But he's got to be the center of attention. He's got to be the new hero. He's got to be the guy. He's got to be the new Tony Stark.
Mhm.
So he's reckless because he's a narcissist and he's crazy. And I think what you don't like about it, they want you to feel.
Mm.
They want us to look at that and go, yeah, he's way over. That is wild. How can you believe that? But if you put yourself in their shoes, you're right. All Spider-Man had to do was do a web thing. Quentin's just lucky he didn't.
Yeah.
But he's unlucky that he did have an accident and run into one.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, he's at fault. Quentin, he's more than just the Mysterio character in this. He's a narcissistic psychopath.
Well, another thing that actually does dismantle a little bit of what I'm saying, and I agree with what you're saying too. It's actually making me feel a little better about it type
Yeah,
thing,
because I kind of
But
thought the same thing for a
all
while.
all the other side characters that are making this team behind Mysterio have all failed.
Yeah, everything they
And
do.
it didn't dawn on me until you're mentioning it like this and that he's just doing it out of luck.
Yeah.
And then it does play back that scene of that William guy in the first Iron Man movie, which great nod, by the way, to do that. Like, that's genius writing to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Bring back a side character from the first movie. He failed at doing that for Obadiah. And all these other characters that are mad at Tony Stark failed him in a way.
That's why they lost their jobs.
That's why they don't like him.
That's right.
So it
It's a
makes
bunch
sense.
of Tony's made more villains than saved more. You know what I mean? Than he's saved.
But
people.
look at these villains in that aspect.
Idiots.
They may be smart, but they're not the level of standard that Tony wanted, which is why they're not there anymore. Or they joined, like William's case, a bad guy and all that stuff. So yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna give it back that
Mysterio's
point.
just a little more put together than the rest of them.
Yeah, he's a little more, and funny enough, like Tony, he's a narcissist in and of himself, and he's his own worst enemy.
Which in that industry, you kind of have to be around all those guys, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it. All right, I'm gonna give it back that point that I was gonna take off from it because of that. But
It's very valid when you think about it, but I
Yeah.
do think the nuance of it, that's what they want you to think.
Yeah.
Because I think the whole speech he gives in that bar
Mm-hmm.
is the reason why it's that way. Because he's all like, this is what we all deserve. It's going to be me. I'm going to be on top of the thing. I'm going to be the new hero.
I will say, that is
And
an
you're gonna
epic
be like,
scene.
it's a great scene. But at the same time, you're like, oh, you don't want to just be a good guy and this is your attempt to be a good guy and you're just doing it the wrong way. You're a psychopath. Like you're doing this for the wrong
Was
reasons.
great at manipulating Peter to get that.
Oh, for
And you know
sure.
what's funny? When he puts the glasses on, he looks like Tony. That's exactly why they did
That's
it
what he
that way.
wanted, yeah.
And that's
Smart.
yeah, it is smart.
He's
And
a
then,
very smart guy.
you know, as soon as he leaves and you start seeing everything disintegrate and the technology, the holograms, all that stuff, it's like, wow.
And the problem with narcissistic psychopaths, whoever wrote his character knows this stuff too, and it must, at least for me, if I was a writer, I'd know it. The problem with the narcissistic psychopath is like some serial killers who are super smart. The thing that's their weakness is always going to come through, and it's that they need to be the center of attention, and that's his own fault of what happens to him is him having to be the center of attention. Because there's a lot of things some of these guys would get away with because they are smarter than everybody in the room. The scariest people are the ones that can manipulate you, and you have no idea they're doing it. The problem is they come with a fault to them, and their fault is they will be their own downfall sometime. And that's him. That's Ted Bundy. I'm not saying he's Ted Bundy, but look how far he goes, though. He resorts to murder. Like, he eventually is like, I'm going to start killing mofos. Like, I'm going to have to kill it. I'm going to have to go kill that whole class, make sure they're on the plane because I'm going to crash it. Like, that's a jump you got to take in your head. Like, that's that's scary. You know what I mean? That's scary. He's a scary individual, really.
Yeah, he is.
You could believe him. You almost think, oh, you guys could be friends. I want you to be. I want to be his friend. And you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yikes. Yeah, I agree. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I do like that. Like you said, you already said in the beginning. I'm just going to reemphasize it. MJ finding out and seeing the projector thing. I think that's really cool. But let's just jump to what I believe is the best character moment. So
let's hit it. I don't have much more to say.
I think you are going to be in the same boat I'm in because I remember you really emphasizing this, and this is that type of scene that's in contention for being the best scene of the movie.
Yeah.
Possibly. That's the illusion fight between Mysterio and Peter. Would you say that is like the best moment of Act 2 is that whole thing? Or is that just a me? Unless you already have something down differently than that.
I'm struggling on where I want to put that scene in the context of our sheets here. I think that as you say it, I think it belongs as the best. Yeah, I think it's a good fit for this act
because this is it. I remember in the theaters being just mind blown how they did it.
Yeah.
That was very creative. Like we knew it was going to happen. He's going to be a bad guy, reveal himself. But the way they showed the different Peters fighting him, the Nick Fury having another double take at the end of, oh, wow, this is still the illusion. You didn't realize it. Like there are so many things that caught me off guard in this. The dead Iron Man coming out. Like, wow, him in the snow globe.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
It's genius. Whoever come up with that sequence, congratulations.
That's mind-blowing.
That is an excellent sequence.
Yes.
That is a wild, that is really unique to this character.
That's what makes him more scary.
Yeah.
Is that whole thing.
Yeah. It does bring up a thing that we'll talk about towards the end about this technology that I want to discuss.
Okay.
That it's kind of a problem, but it's not at the same time. It's just something that needs to be talked about, but it's more for a hot take-ish spot, so... But yeah, no, I'm with you. I'll have to agree. I left that spot open because I wasn't sure, and I had put that with something else later, but it was tied with something. So now I'm very comfortable at letting that be this best character moment in the movie for sure. Yeah,
and it's best character really from Mysterio because it really showed
100%.
It showed the gravity of what he's not only willing to do, but what he can do.
Yeah, and you can also say it's best for Peter as well because you're really seeing this is the first time, really the very first time we see him like completely out of his element. Like there's nothing he can do when usually it's like a struggle, and sure he gets beaten down a little bit in the first movie there, but in this sequence of him doing this, it is like he is just powerless to what's happening. And it's interesting to see him be, rendered that way right till when the train hits him. I mean, for a good half hour, that guy, or 20 minutes, he just went through hell.
Yeah.
You imagine what what a trip that was for him, you know?
Yeah.
Climbing
Yes.
onto the train and sitting there, no wonder he passes out. Like,
Well,
it's like,
that
that's
train,
extraordinary. Yeah.
that blew me away that they had him be hit by a train like that.
Yeah, they
And
wanted
then
to show you.
you see the bloody hand and be like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah, they wanted to show you just how far they can go with him getting hurt.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, I guess we know he can survive getting hit by a train, but just.
Yeah.
Right, just. Thankfully, that spider stuff going on and kind of probably helps him heal fast because
Mhm.
spiders heal quick too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say for this act?
Nope, I'm all set. We can move right on.
The pacing held up for me.
Yeah, I got better.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So what's your score for Act 2 then?
9 out of 10.
I'm going to say the same thing. I
Yep.
had an 8 until that we resolved that little thing. So yeah, 9 out of 10.
Yep.
All right. Wow, this is going pretty good.
Yeah, surprisingly.
I'm going to read Act 3 and then we'll get on to it. Peter travels to London, where Mysterio plans a massive illusion-based final attack to cement his false status as Earth's premier savior. Using his spider sense and his skills, Peter navigates Mysterio's complex Hall of Illusions, defeats the drones, and reclaims control of Edith, leaving Beck mortally wounded by friendly fire. Peter returns to New York and goes on a date with MJ.
Aw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so nice. Good for you.
So let's answer our questions first, and then we'll go into details. How's that sound?
Okay.
So did the ending land? And we're going to talk the very end, right? And yes, I think it did very much so. I love the idea of, is it post-credit scene where his identity gets revealed?
His mid-credit scene, yep.
Okay, so we won't go that far yet, but I do love the idea of him and MJ getting together.
Yep. I like
it
that.
works out real well.
I love that whole sequence of him swinging around New York City. This is the first time in this Tom Holland one we saw that.
Yep.
And I'm glad that it really wasn't touched upon too much in No Way Home, but when we get to Brand New Day, whoa, they elaborate on that magnificently.
It's some of the best stuff you ever saw.
But I love this is your taste of it.
Yeah, and what I like about it is it does feel like, oh, you're home.
Yes.
We felt home too. When
Yes,
we saw
I
it.
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
Yep.
That's the feeling they wanted you to have, I feel like. Yes, so it did land for me. Best moment for Act 3? What would you say?
For character moment for Act 3?
Either character or just moment in general.
Oh no, yeah, well, Act 3. Yeah, biggest the best moment in Act 3.
Mine actually.
I tell you.
Mine's in the beginning of Act 3. Is that he's alive in jail and breaks out and makes that new suit. I love that whole. I need to figure out how to fix this. I messed up big time, and it's part of him taking on a part of responsibility of what my actions do. And that I'm too easily to trust the next adult in the room when I really need to focus more on.
All right, that's way better than my
Yeah.
moment. My moment is I like the moment when he realizes how fake everything is.
Oh,
And he's inside it, and it's like he's just jumping from drone to drone.
that's cool too.
The
Yeah.
effect, just the buildup of the complexity of all that stuff is amazing.
Mm.
So yeah, but I like that answer better. So we're gonna share that one.
Yeah. I thought that is.
It's a great moment.
Well, we're seeing not through his eyes, but we're seeing in real time him maturing and taking that next step of being a young adult.
The only reason that I didn't quite pick that scene is there's moments in that scene that I have in other answers of this thing.
Okay.
So,
all right.
but I will say, technically though, it is the best of this act. So, yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say. Okay. Biggest issue.
The biggest issue, boy, I didn't have anything down for this.
I didn't have anything down for this either.
I'm happy with all of this.
I was curious what other people were saying about the biggest issue of this act, and the most I heard online was they thought that the final battle was underwhelming. But I gotta tell you, I think this was really well done. Making the monsters the way that they did, and doing the kids have their own moment too of fighting against a drone with Happy. That's really cool.
I love all that stuff.
Yes.
I love all that stuff.
And to be honest, I think what I think online, what they're missing, the people that say that that's underwhelming is they're expecting a third act big monster fight with Spider-Man. But at this point, he knows this is an illusion. So his whole goal is to get inside it, disable a couple drones so it doesn't wreck London, and then go find Mysterio and take him out. And that was executed well. I thought that was really good.
So, like, I'm going to combine this with the climax scene, okay?
Okay.
Because this is kind of part of what you're just saying.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're trying to say. I'm going to see if tell me if I articulate correctly. What makes these Spider-Man movies so freaking good, when I say Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, Brand New Day, why they're so good, and it's in contention of the best, franchise of those single character in the MCU, is because their ending climaxes often aren't big spectacles. It's moral things that are happening. And it's more interesting when it's like that. Where the hallway scene is amazing of him using his Peter Tingle and doing his thing. I love it. And I won't go into too much more detail than it's fantastic. It's so good. But where it's the most intense is that last moment where, Beck one more time tries to trick him. And he catches the gun and he's laying there dying, and the conversation that they have and what happens. Like, that is like, if you want bombastic, just big, huge thing to the end, then you're missing the point. Because even in Homecoming, the last fight, the big bombastic part was up on the plane. But once it crashed, the majority of that was him trying to get him to stop.
Yeah.
Like, I'm saving your life because you're going to fight me till you die. But I'm going to beat you right now. And Peter proves I'm going to beat you. And he does.
And
he saves his life.
Yeah.
You go to the next one. You go to No Way Home. You got this huge thing that happens at Statue of Liberty. All the characters, it's a big bombastic thing, but it all comes down to that moment at the end with Green Goblin on his. Yes, it's like, and then of course in this new one, Brand New Day, it's literally a 10-minute scene of no action, of literally them in his mind talking to Aunt May is the climax. What's that remind you of? Days of Future Past, right? So like, I'm just like, it's the brilliance of these Spider-Man movies is it's always going to come back to that emotional core of what this is about and who they're becoming and who you are.
Yeah.
And it is just brilliant. I can't get over how well that is. As good as Civil War is, it could have used that kind of ending more than it had. It still had one that was like that, but where that big fight was awesome at the end, there could have been a little more to it. And it kind of was. Civil War did touch on that. But these Spider-Man movies, man, they made it a point that your climax isn't just the action of the scene. It's the very last moments of that action of that scene is really where you're like on the edge of your seat the most. When I'm watching these movies, that's where I am at the edge of my seat the most. Not in the action part, but right at the end of it when like the outcome is important. And like I think that's kind of what you're saying. It's like people say it's anticlimactic. It's like, yes, because you think you want to see big explosions and all that, which you still get. I don't understand. You still get it. But the climax of like what's happening, it's personal. It's right there. We're going on this journey with Peter constantly, and that's what makes these so good. That's that's that secret sauce that they all seem to understand, at least for now. And they're proving you don't need the same director to make that work because we got a new director in this new one, and it's even better.
Wow. Yes.
Like, it's the second MCU movie to make me cry. I couldn't believe I cried when we were up there watching that thing. I literally started shedding a tear. I'm like, oh my God, this hit me harder than even the first time. Because I knew it was coming now and I could really immerse in what was being said. But anything when it comes down to the X-Men, when you touch on those elements of what makes them that themage of it, that's why the X-Men movies get me. Like, you give me that moment of Xavier's talking and Days of Future Past, I can't handle it, man. I can't handle it. One of the best moments in the MCU is what he says to Doctor Strange in that shitty ass movie that they made. I cannot believe it's in that crap movie, but he says it and I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. But it's like, in this movie, why? So yeah, it's just sad, but that's I digress because I think that's the secret sauce of this, though, is the emotional impact is way more important than the bombastic, blowing things up and all that crap.
I agree. And with all that said, just cherry on top, yes, the climax worked for me too.
Hell yeah.
I just
it works.
I completely agree. Everything you said, I completely agree. So what is your score for Act 3?
I'm going to give the Act 3 a 10 out of 10. Yeah, it goes up for me. It's a 10 out of 10.
All right. Yes. Yes. Well, I gave it a 9 out of 10. I basically been 9 all along. So cool. All right, guys. Wow. So post-credit scenes.
Oh yeah. Jeez, I can't
Um,
believe we're there already.
right? How about you read the first one? I'll read you read the mid, I'll read the post.
Okay. Oop, I'm on this side of it, right? Yeah. After swinging with MJ, a breaking news bulletin flashes on a massive screen in New York City. A doctored video recorded by Quentin Beck frames Spider-Man as a ruthless murderer who caused a London drone attack. Mysterio publicly named Spider-Man as teenager Peter Parker. J.K. Simmons makes his MCU debut as the Daily Bugle's J. Jonah Jameson, launching the shocking news.
Mm. And then the post-credit scene is Maria Hill and Nick Fury are driving in the car discussing recent events, then suddenly morph into the Skrulls, Talos, and his wife Soren. Talos calls the real Nick Fury, who is on vacation and working, basically, on a massive Skrull starship in deep space, setting up future cosmic MCU plot.
Mm.
All right, so I personally have to say, and it might just be my opinion, but these two scenes were top tier mid and post credit scenes.
I agree.
Whether or not they followed through with the J. Jonah Jameson one brilliantly in No Way Home, but the Skrull one that's a little lackluster because it looked like you're expecting big and you don't get the payoff.
Without looking ahead, it's exciting.
But yes, without looking ahead, I will say from my hype level, it was 110%.
Yeah,
it was like, whoa, they're going there.
Yeah, it's above and beyond.
Yes. Yeah. So for these scores, my retrospective wants to lower it, but for just taking the scenes as they are, it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, we got to be honest. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's a good setup. Yes.
Yep.
All right, guys. So deep dives.
Right.
All right, casting and performances. Best performance. Why don't you go first?
Yes. So the best performance in this movie for me, I'm gonna give it to Tom Holland. I think everybody does a great job in this, but he definitely carries this movie more than the first one. I'd say, as an actor, because we need to believe a lot of this, and I believe the strife of I'm a kid that is got too many adult things ahead of me, and I'm scared of it, and I don't want to be this, so I'm going to give it to Tom this time. Then it's the first time we see him get this low, until once we get into the next one, it gets even worse for him when it comes on the rock bottom of his choices in life. But after Quentin really screws him up in that whole thing, it's like, yeah, I'm going to give it to Tom in this one.
Okay. I wrote down Tom Holland, but in a close second to him is Jake Gyllenhaal.
Mm-hmm.
And I was debating on putting him for my most surprising performance or not, but I'm gonna leave him there as Tom Holland is first, Jake Gyllenhaal second for best performance of this movie. So all the reasons you said for Tom and for Jake, that was really good trying to play a narcissistic and deceptive character.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Most surprising performance I'm putting as Nick Fury.
Okay.
Because this is the Nick Fury that I missed from the Winter Soldier days.
Yeah, I dig.
Yes, and I know we already talked about how he wasn't as smart, but we know that's a part of the plot.
The quirkiness is there.
Yes, yes, but for Samuel L. Jackson portraying the classic spy Nick Fury part of it, I like that.
It looks like he's having fun.
Yes, yeah. So who's your most surprising performance?
So remember, when I think of this, I think best performance is Top Bill. Mm-hmm. I look at the most surprising and the casting win is they deserve to be in that same position, but they just take the second tier to it.
Okay.
So the most surprising one for me in this is actually Happy. I forget how good he is in this one, how much I like him in this. Yeah,
I see that.
I'm intensely impressed with his acting in it and the involvement he has. is a little more, and I enjoy it. And that moment with him and Peter, which we'll talk about here in a few minutes, anyways, is fantastic, and his acting is spectacular. So it surprised me how much I like it. Yeah,
I like that actually a lot. All right, weakest performance.
yeah. If any, let's be honest. I don't think there's many that's real bad in this. I will tell you, I'm going to give it to Ned though.
Yep, me too. Jacob Allen.
Only because it gets old. That
Mhm.
joke just plays out too fast.
Yep, it goes.
Yep.
Yeah, it goes too long for the whole
It's his only
duration.
role in this movie.
Yes.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I agree. All right. Casting wins or misses?
So the casting win's going to go to Jake.
Yeah.
So I've loved Jake Gyllenhaal for a very long time. So that's why I say, guys, casting wins and most surprising performance and best performance. To me, it's the same category. It just depends on the order they're in. I'm going to give it to Jake because he's going to do a good job. So it wasn't a surprise to me.
Mhm.
And I do think Tom does better in this because he needed to pull some things out. But like you said, for all the reasons why he's your surprise is all the reasons why, to me, it's a casting win because Jake is an immensely good actor.
Mhm.
And this was cakewalk to him compared to other stuff he does. So I'm not saying he didn't do the best he can here, but he didn't have to because
Yeah.
he's just that good.
I agree.
He really is. When you see him do his best, it's amazing stuff, guys. I mean, I could point you to some movies of his, you'd be like, wow. But in this, on top of it, just shows why he's so good.
I agree. Any missed opportunities, a waste of potential for you?
And no, not so much.
There's none for me either.
No, I'm cool with there's nothing that I can think of.
All right. So direction and production. What do you have to say about the directing style, cinematography, action quality, CGI, music?
So the music's fantastic. I love the Spider-Man soundtracks. I'm actually listening to the one that we just saw. Some of the music in this last one was so good. Not just the music of the score, but even the songs they chose to put in it are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Action quality in this one, awesome, man. I like the drone stuff. It's really fun. Cinematography is really fun. The director knows just what he's doing. He's got a vision. Like we said, if you got a vision, it's going to work. But I do want to highlight the CGI and cinematography. And I'm going to give it to him, man. That sequence when they are, even the hallway sequence, any of the sequences that aren't the elementals with this stuff, with this technology, is spectacularly crazy looking. And especially the Mysterio sequence and the hallway sequence, I got to say, is top notch when it comes down to how they filmed it. Fantastic.
I agree. That it was mind blowing that they were able to pull that off the way they did.
So good.
Yeah. All right. So hot takes.
If I have any hot take to say, is I think if Beck would have gotten away with this, it would have been interesting to see how long it would have took for everyone to be like, yeah, you're full of crap. It would have been fun to see that continue on. But I think the only hot take I have is the Edith thing. It's like, what happens to those things? And I realized, they go to the Department of Damage Control. The glasses do. In the news thing, he dies, and in the investigation, Damage Control takes over, and they take Tony's glasses from Peter.
That's right. That's in the beginning of No Way Home, right?
They talk about it in this here, but I don't know if they bring it up in No Way Home. Maybe they do. We'll find. I can't remember. But it's like, this is where I want to talk about the technology real fast. It's like, why isn't this used in the MCU again? Like, it's intense technology. Like, it's just gone now. This barf stuff is gone now. And the Edith thing, they just kind of abandon it, right? Like, just like, well, it's over. It's like, it's a whole, like, space shuttle full of drones.
Like killer drones.
It's just going to be for this sequence of this movie, and that's it? Interesting. It's a weird plot line that just gets completely abandoned for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it goes against this movie, because I think it fits more into the whole follow through than it does hurting this movie. But it does make me wonder, why didn't they ever include this again somehow? In some way.
I agree. That's a good point.
Imagine they deployed this on Thanos.
There's
It could have at least been a great scene. He still would have beat it.
There's some,
it would have been unique, right?
This is one of those. There's some of those tools in the MCU. I think we've talked about in the past MCU too, where we're like, why don't we see this again? I'm trying to remember what it is. I have to look through our retrospectives.
There's
to
another
see.
one in the next movie.
But yeah, it's just
Why
like,
not have that thing again? Why not give him something like that where he can hit somebody with webs and just put them in a cell somewhere? That sounds like a tool you might want to have in your back belt.
Yeah,
There's a few things they just abandoned, right?
I'm like, those tools would have been handy fighting Thanos
Hell
or now
yeah.
Doom or whatever, like, I agree. I would love for them to put in one of these Avengers movies where they walk through Avengers campus or tower or whatever it is, and they have like a Batman has this actually in the comics and in the video game. It's like a hall of all their gadgets they've ever used, and it's on display.
Kind of like what what's his face has on Asgard too. Like
Yeah.
a bunch of
Yes, that's a good
trophy room basically.
The trophy room,
all that stuff.
of all their gadgets they've
Yeah.
ever used. And part of me is like, why don't you use them? But anyways,
Well, because if you think about it, that could have been a cool scene with anybody. Like, I mean, when I say the Thanos thing, this is after that, so you could arguably say it didn't exist then yet, right? So cool, that's cool. But it's like you couldn't have thought of another time that you understand.
Well, see, I would argue this existed even during that because
I would too, but we
this is
don't know.
immediately after Tony's death, and it's not like they just created these;
And
they've
the
always
technology
had them.
was around during Iron Man 3.
Yes.
So technically,
Well, Civil War is when they made Barf.
that's right. Civil War. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah. So,
oh my god.
I mean, the drones might be later, but at the same time,
We don't
those drones could have been handy at the Endgame battle.
What a cool scene of them showing up and doing this cool thing, and Thanos using the Reality Stone, and they all turn the drones, and he just like, and just takes them out with the Power Stone or whatever.
Yep.
I mean, it would have been easy. It just would have been unique to be like, hey, at least they used it, right? Like, this is one of the coolest. And then they give it to a company that now we're finding out is awful.
Evil?
Yeah. It's like, obviously, they're not even using it either.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes you wonder, what's that all about? Like, why? But I don't know. I guess I don't know. It makes me wonder why it was just something. Just just don't put that in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think people didn't like it in the long run. I think when you go look at any reviews out there, the things they complain about is the drone stuff. They say, too many of the drones, too much was computerized. I think that's why they're like, we're just not going to do it again. Just stay away from it. And it's like, part of me is kind of like, well, what the hell? I like it. So,
Yeah.
anyway, that's my hot take, I guess, is I wonder why this just disappears.
I like your hot take. I like it a lot. So this is my hot take. Peter handing over the Eve of Glasses to Mysterio, I feel, is a brilliant reflection on grief.
Yeah.
The overwhelmed teenager who desperately wanted permission to just be a kid again after all that he went through, the emotional turmoil of losing Tony and coming back and things being different and trying to adjust to life back in school, which everything's radically changed for him. Handing over that heavy burden to so he is not becoming the next global savior, and then turns out he has to take on that responsibility of, I have to do this, I have to move on. There's no one else but me in that aspect. I think that's a brilliant way of showing his grief that I don't think people talk about too much. You could probably say that that's an underrated moment, to be honest, and I probably might put that as my underrated moment too. That scene, but that when you think about the stages of grief, this is like a couple of them wrapped in one. This is like really well done. So that's kind of my hot take, I guess.
I like it. I agree with you. Yep, it is. I think that your hot take is perfect in pointing out the deepness of what they're doing in this. And I think that's what makes these Spider-Man movies so good, is because they're really establishing it. They're really holding on to
Peter's origin, really.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yep. Okay, so let's see. Quick fire questions. Best scene of the movie for you?
Oh, let me pull it up. I'm going to give it the hallway scene with the Peter Tingle stuff.
Okay.
It was. Yeah, I'm going to give it that. Yep. Yeah, I love this. When he gets into that, he just accepts it and takes on his, I'm going to learn. I'm going to trust my instincts, and he just goes at it. I love that whole scene. And then with the gun, I think that's the best scene of this movie.
Okay. For me, it's Peter versus Mysterio that first time.
Yeah,
And
that's that's a good coin
yeah.
toss between the two of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
The first one is wild. Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. I love how they did it. Least best scene for you.
Um, I actually put something for different reasons. And it's a lot of the Ned and stuff with
Okay.
Ned and the girl. What's her name again? I can't.
Betty.
What? Yeah, Ned and Betty. It's the only part of that scene with the fire one that did make that drag on more is that they weren't as funny. You know, that got old to me, and that was them being there just made that scene linger too long. So it's not the same reasons why you had worries about it before, but it definitely was a scene that the pacing was off,
Mm-hmm.
and it just was way too long of a scene in the middle.
Yep.
So, Dad, I'm just gonna say that's the only time I kind of was like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, just get the scene done. Let's move on.
Mine's exactly the same. And Ned and Betty definitely are part of the reason why it kind of dragged on. And also what I explained earlier, the confusingness and the predictability, I should say, of it.
Yeah.
Even though, like you said, I think that you're right. They meant that to be that way. But
They actually could have you done better if they focused more on that and took the Ned and Betty part out.
yes,
Then it would have been more obvious for you, and then you'd have enjoyed it more. I think that would have
maybe.
been better.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's mine too. Best villain moment.
This is where I had the tie from earlier, but I'm gonna let the illusion scene be where it is, and then you at least put it in your best scene. To me, his best moment is the speech in the bar when he gets done, and Peter walks out, and he just is like complete 180. It's just the acting, the scene itself, the reveal. It's genius. It's like, okay, of course we knew he's bad. We knew. But the direction they went with it being barf, all that stuff. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. And I just enjoy the hell out of his little speech. I think it's his best moment for sure as the actor with that character. Yeah.
So mine is when he threatens to put a bullet in everyone's head.
Oh yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, because to me, he's like part of the team and you could tell he's in charge and all that. But once you see that narcissism come through where even your friends become your enemies if they're not doing what you want them to do, and it's scary that he's like, no, none of you would. I have to put a bullet in their head. None of you want a bullet in their head. And all the drones immediately are like, oh yeah, we're doing this. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That to me is like that's a villain moment right there.
Calm down, fella.
Yeah.
Great moment. Yep. Very good choice.
Most punchable face.
You ready for this? Every single person in that bar. So like William, that one from A Christmas Story, he was the punchable face for me in Iron Man, and he deserves it just as well in this one too. And then the other guy, what's his name? I wrote it down. Even his name, Guterman. His big old long horse face. Punch that guy in the face. He's the same one that puts the bus on the bridge at the end.
Yep.
And then Victoria and Janice, they look like troublemakers.
They do.
Everybody in that bar looks like somebody that someone was like, boy, I could punch that person in the
look
face.
like the gossip people in the office. They look like they know how to get into trouble.
I just want to line them all up against the wall and just one giant big old knock to the noggin. That's my punchable face. It's multiple faces.
That's awesome. I put William, but I agree with all of them. Yeah. Well, the reason why I put him more than anyone else is, did you not learn from the first villain you were helping in the first Iron Man movie not to help the other villain? Like, there's no brain cells aren't connected there for being so smart that you are.
Like it all works for the scene and everything. I don't have a problem with who they are.
Yeah.
But they even look like a punch to the face.
Yes.
Not just their character, they look like they need it. Like they made us really hate them. Like
yes.
Yeah, it's so good.
I agree. All right, one prop you take home.
I have two. One's actually from the movie, and one was a thing that they made for the movie.
Okay.
Which is still in the movie, but it's not actual thing in the movie. If it makes, you'll know what I mean when I say it.
Okay.
I think the glasses are cool. I would love the case for the glasses on a little shelf. That'd be neat. Right next to the Tony had a heart, proof Tony had a heart, right? The other one is they actually do make a good sized snow globe of the thing where Spider-Man's sitting in there with the tower, and they made that. That would be cool on a shelf too. You see, I mean, it's like not technically a prop of the movie, but it is a moment that is in the movie. So yeah, to me, that's the two that I would definitely get that snow globe. That thing is cool. But yeah, the glasses, I think, is the only thing that really sticks out to me that really is interesting, you know?
I do agree with the glasses, especially in retrospective, we never see them again.
Yeah.
So I should have put that. I put MJ's necklace that he gets.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like,
Yep.
before it's broken apart.
Yeah, the before one is even more
Yes.
interesting. I think that's
Yeah, because that's
yeah,
yes, yeah.
that's a good call.
All right, most underrated moment.
Let me go back up here. I put it out of order. I'm
I
thinking.
had 2 of them, but one of them was already in my
Oh.
hot take, so I'm gonna leave that out. The other one I'm gonna put is Peter and Mysterio on the rooftop the first time. I think that's a good conversation between the 2 of them.
It's funny. I had a tie between 2 things, and that was one of them.
Mm.
Nobody talks about that conversation enough.
Yep.
Because that's the most manipulative is when he heart to heart with him.
Yes.
Because that's even where we're just like, maybe they aren't going to make him a bad guy in this, and we're just being fooled. Like they kind of almost fooled us by making us know that he's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
But they almost duped us by telling us, right?
Yeah.
Because you like him. You're like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
I'll be bad. I like this guy. The other thing is the blip stuff for the exact same reason you brought it up in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
This is where I was going to bring it up later.
There you go.
It's so underrated because how awful. We don't have to retread that again. But
No, but
my
yeah.
Lord,
That's
I can't
a
wait to clip
scary
that.
concept.
This would be a good clip right there.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
Oh,
Oof.
gosh. Overrated moment.
So this is a weird moment to pick because I'm going to give you 2 answers here.
Okay.
I'm going to give you my most overrated moment, and I'm going to give you my most emotional scene at the same time. Because it's the same scene.
Okay.
This was hard to explain, but in my head it makes sense.
All right.
So I hope you follow
Do
me.
tell.
So I think people see, I'm going to go with the overrated moment, a part of it first. I think people see this scene and they complain sometimes, but they also focus on the wrong thing that's going on in the scene. And it's overrated because it's this idea of taking Iron Man's place. And the scene almost plays into it a little too much. So some people are almost like, oh, see, Peter's going to be that next guy. When, like, it's the best scene, though, because technically it's the scene Peter realizes there is no taking Iron Man's place, and he's got to be his own person. But I think the moment gets misinterpreted a lot. So it's an odd answer for those 2 things. But it's the most emotional because it is a big deal, and that is something that he needed to tackle with, and it is that whole, oh, this isn't about replacing him. No, you're not Tony Stark, and no one's ever gonna be Tony, especially you. But you can be you, and he trusted you enough with this because that would be Tony. Some people criticize, why would he leave it to that teenager? I don't think you understand. It actually kind of makes sense. Tony's wild, and he's crazy, and he thinks of stuff like that, and I think it makes more sense that he does leave it to Peter. But I think people interpret this as, I thought look, Spider-Man's taking Tony's spot. He's gonna be the next Tony Stark in a way. And I remember the talk around the buzz of that whole thing was that. And there's a couple videos I watched online after I watched this movie 2 or 3 times. I did watch a couple other people's reviews, and even in their own reviews are like, oh, I love that it is Peter that's going to be the new Iron Man. Even though he's going to be an Iron Man Spider, he's going to be an Iron Spider, but it's cool. He's going to take that mantle up. And I don't interpret the scene as that at all.
I don't either.
So it's
No.
I think it's overrated because they missed the point.
I see the similarities that they're doing, playing the music, him
That's just
acting like what
They
Tony
almost
would
did
do.
too much to it's
Yeah.
almost like, ooh, if you didn't do that, maybe people would get it.
But it was really, I agree with you, honestly, on that. I didn't have something written for my overrated moment because it was hard for me to figure out one, but it is my most emotional moment too. Peter confessing to Happy on the plane that he misses Tony.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
There's a lot. It's growing up right there, and it's him realizing he's being his own person. And
Another stage of grief.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
It's great. It's playing on our screen right now.
Yeah.
It's perfect. So yeah, I fully agree with you on everything you said
But
on
they
that.
I think it gets interpreted as he is walking into that mantle. And I'm like,
No, he's
that's not what I'm
becoming his
seeing.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, guys, do you want that?
No,
No.
nobody does.
I am more in favor, and this is a big leap there, of Falcon taking on the mantle of Captain America than Peter taking on the mantle of Iron Man.
No, I got you.
And I'm not in favor of that too, by the way. But
To add on to that hot take part of it, I'm more in favor of Rhodes taking up the suit, not taking Tony's spot, but taking up the suit of Iron Man still being around. I'd be more open to than Peter doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. No, Peter needs to be Spider-Man,
That's
his
right.
thing.
That's right.
Yep. Anyways, funniest part, I guess. Funniest moment.
The funniest moment.
My, I gotta tell you, those teachers are
Yeah,
hilarious.
they are some of the. Yeah.
I love that.
What's yours?
So mine is when they get into the hotel in Venice, and the kid says, "This place is sinking," and the teacher says, "You mean charming?" I'm like, "No, it's literally sinking."
I like the whole witches thing that he talked
Yes.
about. Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's my funniest moment.
What,
Yeah.
what does he say? No, I'm a man of science,
Yeah.
and I have only one thing that I think is going on here: witches.
Yeah, witchcraft. Yeah. Yeah, the teachers take the cake in this because it's so off the wall. It's
That-
perfect.
And
Like,
you can tell these teachers don't know how to handle these kids. They're just doing what they can do. They're like, all right, let's get through this.
yeah. And I still firmly believe that one teacher is literally the guy from the Hulk movie that
He is,
lost
yep.
his job.
He
Now
is,
he's
yeah.
just a teacher. Yeah.
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 That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, final scores. So,
Oof.
out of 2 for you, Ike, the story.
I'm gonna give it a 2.
Okay, I'm giving it a 2 as well. Characters.
2.
2
That
as
was a
well.
1, but you convinced me to change it.
All right, 2 as well for me. Action and visuals.
That's a 2.
2 for me. Emotion and stakes.
I'm gonna give it a 1.5. Because there are times where I didn't feel. Yeah, it's a 1.5. It's not a world-ending thing to it. I
Mhm.
don't know why. There's a little lacklusterness to some of it, but I don't know if it takes away from it too much, but I'm gonna give it 1.5.
I gave it a 1 for that same reason. There's definitely the emotion in here, but the stakes is not as big.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you realize the stakes, you kind of like, oh, okay, I get it now. Because really, if he'd have won, he'd just been a false hero.
Yeah.
And some people died.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awful. It's still awful, but it's not like
Oh,
the
yeah,
world
but
ends.
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rewatchability and MCU impact.
See, this is a 2. I can watch. This is one of my favorite ones to rewatch, and um, the impact I think is huge
So
on the MCU.
for me, this is a 1.5. And the rewatchability is huge. I'm with you on that. There are huge parts of this movie where the MCU impact for Peter in particular is there. So I have to give it that credit. But the other MCU impact of following up with the scrolls, that is not in the MCU impact at all. So
Yeah.
I know we're judging it on just this movie, but this specific question is MCU impact. Where
Okay.
so for me, I'm like, had they not dropped the ball on the scrolls, this would have been easy to. But
That's a good point. I think I agree with you on that. So I think I will.
Yeah.
I will agree with the one.
this is like that one gray
Yeah.
question of our whole retrospect that we're
Yeah,
like,
it's a tough
okay,
question, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So-
I concede to that because you're very true. If there's any place to put that issue, it's right there.
All right. So final score. What is yours?
So I got to tell you, this movie goes the distance. It does all the right stuff and everything. It's just there's an emotional lacking to it enough where it is rewatchable as it is rewatchable just because it's more fun. I'm not saying it doesn't go there emotionally, but it does. It does go there. But there is something for me that I'm going to give it a solid 8.5.
Okay.
I think that's fair. I almost gave it a 9, but I do think that they could have nuanced some things a little stronger and better. And some of the pacing does make me look at my watch and think, okay, this scene could end and then we'll move on. And I think that I have to give it that 8.5, but I'm going to give it that high because like I said, this Spider-Man is it's killer. They're just killing it with Spider-Man.
So I gave it an 8.
Makes
It's been the
sense.
same.
Yeah.
So I mean, dividing it up, it's going to be like 8.25, but I'm just going to round it off to 8. And so the
I
official
like it.
official Goodell Multiverse score for Spider-Man Far From Home is 8 out of 10.
I think that works. That fits.
Yep.
That fits.
Yep.
Just imagine what the next Spider-Man movie is going to be.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Do you have any one sentence final reviews or anything you would have done differently?
Nothing I would have done differently. I think anything that we did say we do differently, we've already kind of talked about. I kind of wish they had explored the blip stuff a little more. But at the same time, maybe it's not the right movie for it. But initial end thoughts here, guys, is arguably Spider-Man's this character's set of movies in the MCU, I think are in the discussion of the top 3 best the MCU's ever done.
Yep.
And this movie proves that. The next one proves it more, and the newest one almost makes the argument.
I agree. I'm gonna echo everything that you said and add to that making this is one of the best sequels of a solo character that the MCU has ever done.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a couple of them that kind of eke out over it, like Winter Soldier type thing, but
like that.
some of them are on par with the first one or greatly go down in their sequel. This one ups the ante just enough where you feel character progression.
Yep.
And then once we get to, in retrospect, the third and fourth, it's like out of the park.
Yeah, I actually have something to admit. I'm going to admit it here on the podcast. Because this is where we do it. I wanted to save this to the very last thing that we said. I have a confession to make now to the folks out there.
Oh boy.
In watching this movie, it has occurred to me an epiphany I had during the watching of this film. And my epiphany is, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, because Spider-Man was never one of those characters that I was super enthused about anyway. I always liked it, and they're always fun, and I never had a problem with it. But this time, I'm going to tell you, Spider-Man is now in the competition of being one of the top 5 best characters the MCU's ever made, especially after this last movie. And then watching it here reminds me, because when I look at this, I think of where we get in the next one. And I'm like, I like him now as much as I like Captain America, as much as I like Thor, as much as I like Tony. I actually like him more than I like Hulk. I like him more than I like 90% of people that are around. He has become one of my absolute favorite characters to watch. And hot take or not, guys, Toby and them are great. I love them. I give them all their flowers. This is the best Spider-Man we've ever seen live action. And it's the best we're ever going to get. You're only going to get better if you do a different character, which will be a Miles Morales someday. And then you can do different things, and it's fine because we'll expect different stuff. But as of right now, Tom, I hope he does this for the rest of his life, because he's so freaking good at this role, man. Like, it is just, and the writing's so good. He's top 5, top 4. Yeah.
He's, to echo what you just said, when we saw A Brand New Day, it made me feel like this is Golden Age MCU again.
Yeah.
And it's because of Tom Holland and his performance. And now when we see Spider-Man, it's refreshing to feel like we're back at the MCU. You know what I mean? That's one of the very few characters in phases 4, 5, and 6 where I can honestly say when they came on screen, we felt like we were in the MCU again. Thor was definitely part of that, but this one, or Spider-Man, I should say, yes. Agreed. All right, so that concludes, guys, our retrospective review of Spider-Man Far From Home. Ike, what is on the docket for next week?
Oh, next week, guys. All right, here we go. Oh, wow. Branch Point Breakdown next week is going to be a great one, guys. We're going to WandaVision. Woo! It's going to be a fun one to talk about. But I got some watching to do this week. Our retrospective is Black Widow. So please join us for that fun. And look for the release, guys, of X3 Last Stand, the special retrospective. Sammy said he's got it all edited, ready to go, and it should be up pretty soon, right? You said, and
yep,
check that out, guys. We had a good time talking about it. We crap on it a lot. There's a lot of things crap up, but we have good talks about it. We got good reasons though, and you guys watch that. You'll hear what we're got to say, and I'm somewhat looking forward to the next episode. WandaVision's going to be perfect to do. And Black Widow's not awful, but it is, hey guys, we got to take a break from this spectacular stuff and talk about some missteps, right? So we'll get there.
We're officially entering into the multiverse saga, and I love WandaVision. There's no doubt on that. And Black Widow, I think we're gonna have a great conversation about that film, the good, the bad, the ugly, every part of it. So I'm looking forward to that myself. I'm actually really looking forward to rewatching that because it's been a hot minute, but that's going to be fun for us. So yeah, I agree. So guys, we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube. Please like, please subscribe, please comment, please get that algorithm going for us. You can stream us on Buzzsprout, on Apple, on Amazon, on Spotify, wherever you stream, we're probably there. So tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, get the word out there for us, guys. And until next time, we will see you at the movies.